Hey, welcome to Road Testament. Today is the last installment of Best Used Cars in the World. That's 20 grand, the top class, and obviously for the price of a Toyota Camry, probably a little less than a Toyota Camry, you can get a million awesome cars. And to help us decide, we've got Matt Hardigree, editor-in-chief of Jalopnik. What's up, Matt?
Nothing much. Excited to be here.
Very good. And also, it's cool that you're here because later today we are debuting Jalopnik on Drive.
That's right. Later today, you'll all be watching. You'll be watching this show. You'll be watching that show simultaneously. Two screens open.
Yes.
If you run it backwards, actually, this show, it'll play Pink Floyd over the other show. So
yes.
Important to know.
Perfectly synced up with Dark Side of the Moon.
Exactly.
Or what was that other one?
The Wall.
The Wall. Yeah. Anyway, so we don't run the show like 4 hours because this is the hardest one to do. The 20 grand. There's so many cars for 20 grand. No matter what currency you're buying in, that I had to actually break this down into a bunch of, 5 categories to follow, just so we could actually frame this in a way that might be interesting to figure out. So here are the categories we're going to follow. Late model boy racer, and obviously that's your STIs and Evos, right?
Yeah.
Also some other cool stuff in there that we'll talk about, R32s and some Saabs. We'll ask Mr. Saab a little later about that one. Late model V8 Fight Club, obviously your Mustangs, your Corvettes, your GTOs. German motoring instrument, that's your BMW, your 3 Series, your
right.
Probably E46 and your Audi.
Or you can get an E39.
Or E30,
M5.
Yeah. Although E39 M5, I was going to put in
luxury
highly
buyer?
Depreciated luxury bruiser.
That's true.
So
That's
you have your AMG iron in there, and you have probably your E39 M5, and also just your awesome classics. So if maybe you could find a Bentley Turbo R.
Yeah, you could, or a Ferrari Mondial.
Right, or a Barracuda.
Yeah.
Like a 66.
Yeah, maybe like a bad one.
Maybe a bad. Yeah, probably not the greatest shape, but yeah. All right. Anyway, so let's go with late model boy racer. What do you got?
I'm gonna probably go with an STI. There was a year there where Subaru screwed up and made actually the regular WRX faster than the STI, and then they reversed it the next year and made the STI faster again. So it's 2008, 2009. So if you get a 2008 WRX, you're actually coming in cheaper than a 2009 STI. Or a 2009, some people in the comments might correct me, I might have this backwards, but I think it's 2008 WRX. Pretend you're, Colin McRae, you're a rally driver. Pretend you're like Ken Block before he got mad Ford sponsorship. There's so much you can do with that car. It's great to drive. I took one out on a gravel trap and just tuned the crap out of it, and it kept going. It stood up. It's a great deal, and it doesn't really, an Evo sounds great, but it's sort of, you're that guy who owns an Evo. And if you own an WRX, you could be that guy who wears North Face clothing and all of that. So there's another way to go.
All right, so I'm going to go with, and it's funny you should say that because I was going to say, you go with the STI if you happen to want to drive gravel stages once in a while. But I'm totally going with Evo. And the reason I'm going with Evo is just because I just think it's a more bat kind of experience. Like the Evo has always been a little bit more wild and crazy. It's always felt a little bit more on the edge. And I mean up to 9. I'm not talking about the 10. I'm just talking about the 9. The 9 MR. I don't know if the MRs are in the 20 grand. I think they might be a little more than that at this point.
Well, you might get a deal because the original MRs are so stripped down. Do they even have air conditioning? I don't.
I think so, but I'm not positive.
That's a really stripped down car. That's a car you get if you hate your girlfriend and you hate your parents and your neighbors. You buy an Evo MR. Right. And you're like, screw you guys. You wear a flat bill energy drink cap.
See, all right, check please. I'll see you guys later. No, I mean, and the reason you're right. I mean, culturally, right? It's the same. There's another problem further down on the list that we'll talk about like that too, a cultural problem.
Correct.
I'm kind of okay with going with the Evo, only just because it's just madcap.
It is. No, it is the craziest car almost the craziest car you could buy in this whole list that we're going to go through.
Right. But
for the money. But also it's terrible.
You almost have to wear a great suit every day. And I'd probably have to, I don't want to be like douchebag, like long hair Evo guy.
You can't,
so, Problems. Anyway, so that's cool. All right, but also in this category, R32s.
R32 is good, and that's actually a good deal because the new Golf R drops the VR6 motor for the Turbo 4, which is nice in a way and better for the environment. But the VR6, if batshit is what you want to, makes it a lot more fun, that motor.
I wonder if, because the VR6 had such a following, whether the prices of the VR6 ones are going to go up.
They're probably going to go up.
Now that you can't get them. But I mean, the great thing about those is that they've held their value so well over the course of 8 years almost now that they've been around.
It's a while.
First generation, second generation.
And a lot of them have gone into trees because there's so much motor up front that people have tried to drive them fast and have destroyed them. So
they tend to vector in a straight line. All right, cool. But there's also actually Ian, Mr. Saab.
Turbo X.
The Saab 9.3 Turbo X, which I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
How many horsepower?
About 280.
Right.
All-wheel drive. They're only in black, and they're kind of rare, but you could get it, and it has cool sports interior and sports suspension.
It's a great car. I hear the clutches go out easily on that car.
Oh,
I think you might have some trouble with that. Watch that.
They burn up?
They burn up really quickly. And if you're like a Jalopnik and you accidentally burn up the only car in America at the Turbo X, wasn't me, but that happened. The Turbo X is great. I would totally rock a Turbo X, and there would be like 4 people on the road who would get that as you drove by a year.
Right.
And those 4 people would be so happy.
They would cheer, and then when you try to get it serviced, you'd have to. The good thing about that car is it's like you have to be self-sufficient. I mean, you'd have to become the guy. You'd have to be like the Cubans with the American cars. You'd be putting like a diesel
lot of
engine in it after a couple of years.
The Saab parts business is ramping up again.
Oh,
there you go, Ian. All right, so Mr. Saab chiming in. Thanks very much.
Invest in Saab parts.
Really, if you want to know anything about Saabs, maybe we'll do a Saab show with Ian one day. All right, cool. So that's the first category. Second, late model V8 Fight Club. I'm just going to go straight out, and it's a little bit more than 20 grand right now. But the last gen of the latest model GTO, the 6-liter, the LS2 one, just because independent rear. Actually, I did actually write the pros and cons. Independent rear. 400 horsepower, of course, always good. Handles great for a muscle car. Probably the best handling muscle car of its time.
It's almost a Corvette, yeah. I mean, it's right there, and we didn't have any. Do we really have anything comparable to that now? I mean, we have the CTSV.
I mean, maybe the Camaro. Yeah, I mean, the Camaro's sort of similar. They both came out of Australia.
They're both Zeta platform, sort of, or it was Proto Zeta.
Yeah. Right. The GTO was from that Matilda concept. It was like, I mean, the cool thing about that is you could badge it as a Holden Monaro, or is it Monero? It's Monero if you're in Long Island, but
right.
But you could get all the Australian badges and just sort of drive around on a left-hand drive version of an Australian car. So that's kind of cool.
That's cool. But if you're going to do that, I would just say just go like full-on Monaro, convert it to like an El Camino Ute SS. The problem with that car is like there are only like 2 colors of that car you ever see. Red, which is it's so loud. It's such like an overcompensating color. Like I love the car,
right?
And I would totally buy one and just paint it black because the blacks that you see are just gorgeous cars. Right. Or pussy magnet yellow.
Right,
the PMY
exactly,
cars,
right.
And you can't. I could not drive a PMY GTO.
It's hard to do that, and the problem is that then they have the seats with the yellow trim.
Yeah,
and like if it's blue, it's got the blue trim. I mean, they're not exactly the most tasteful cars, and the problem is that the design is actually kind of bland. It's very jelly beany. It's very dated looking because it has that sort of straight wind tunnel jelly bean look.
Yeah, it's the huge greenhouse.
Yeah, right.
It's like the biodome. You could live underneath there and grow your own food and be self-sufficient underneath the roof of a GTO, which is good though because visibility is great. Like all these new cars and you're up in the really high belt line. Yeah. I'll take really good visibility in the con being looking bad.
I thought you were going to say I'll take great visibility for 800, Alex.
I'll take it.
But I mean, another con for that car is you need a shift kit because shifting is in the next state. And another pro is that they're ridiculously tunable. So you can get all kinds of stuff for them. People do. And so if you want a muscle car you can take to the track, probably not cost a whole lot to get it track worthy. If you have a little bit more than the 20 grand, yeah, I'd say go with that.
I'm going the complete opposite direction.
All right.
I'm going to say not going to handle quite as well. I'm going to say Bullet GT, last generation Bullet GT. Those prices are starting to come down. First generation Bullet GT is okay too. Second generation is fantastic. Actually, the newer Mustang GT before the 5.0 was really just the Bullet Mustang, all tweaked. They took all those tweaks and they put them and they crushed them over to the they ported them over to the new GT, and it's great. And the Bullet Mustang looks fantastic. The second generation of it, they dropped the goofy fake gas cap. It's a lot. It's a specific. The exhaust huge 3.5-inch tips. It's designed to sound like the original 390 that was in the Bullet Mustang. It's super fun to drive. It's got the big, like, kind of, on the inside it's kind of cartoonish. It has the big cartoonish shift knob. I mean, it's like an 8-ball. But an aluminum 8-ball. It's great, which is actually a great thing. Aluminum 8-ball was actually the name of my band in college. It was like a punk, like, reggae band. And it looks great, and people don't, like, when you see it, you know that it's a Bullet car, but it doesn't scream. It's great to drive. I took it out on track. I took it out actually at Hennessy's track, his like little quarter-mile back there, and you could just all day long stomp on it. Fantastic, wonderful car. A lot of GT. Actually, in talking about value, you can't get a GT500 in the 20,000 price range. You can't get close to it. But some of those GT500 accents, at least stylistically and on the interior, came down from the GT500 to the Bullet. Cool. So it's great, and you can pretend you're Steve McQueen, and you can pretend you're Steve McQueen in a socially responsible way, because Steve McQueen couldn't exist anymore. Like, because he would have a Twitter account and he would have to go on Oprah because he like beats his wife and is like addicted to drugs. But like,
it would be. Yeah, but that's a way to, and you could do like the reverse burnouts and still look cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. No, I'm down. And just as an alternate, I'm going to throw in the previous gen Mustang Svt Cobra.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll just throw that in as a.
If you get a Mystic paint job one, even better.
I thought you were going to say Mystic Pizza. German Motoring Instrument. All right, so basically this is the 3 Series versus, or the M3 versus S4 debate, right? So obviously, if you're going to ever go on a racetrack, you get the E46 M3. Basically, you buy the best M3 you can get for 20 grand. And if it's an E36 top, like with 30,000 miles on it, maybe that's it. But basically, you want the E46, right? Because it's just the.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. Actually, there's nothing else in that class that was as good. I mean, like, I'll take S4. Like, S4 is great, but like, you hope you get it for $10,000 and you can spend another $10,000 to keep it on the road, because it's just such a terrible generation of car. Well,
the good thing, right? So the 4.2 liter V8 in the Audi is probably the best sounding engine ever made. Right. The other good thing is if you have a fiance whose parents you have to drive around once in a while, you get the Audi, because like if you pull up with the M3, it's like, you might as well just scream, I met your daughter at a booze cruise.
Yeah, and I banged her on the first date. Like, exactly. That's that car.
I banged
S4 said I waited 2 dates, 3 days, took her out to a nice dinner.
I banged her in the head on the booze cruise. I mean a head on the boat, like a head, like. Anyway.
Moving on. Yeah,
I
think it just wins this round straight out. Like,
I mean, pretty much.
If you're meeting girls on a booze cruise, you might as well have the car to match.
Right, exactly. Highly depreciated luxury bruiser. So this is where AMG, the highly depreciated AMG cars come in, because basically you can have a $120,000 Mercedes AMG tuner for 20 grand right now. I wouldn't want to go and have to do a lot of work to it, because then you might be paying another 20 grand every year.
Well, it's like the old saying, right? It's like the most expensive car in the world is a cheap Mercedes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the thing. I mean, but I do see a lot of people driving around in $20,000 AMGs, because you can get them and they're awesome. Yeah, they're automatic, right? But I mean, if you travel long distances, if you just want a German muscle car that's awesome, you got. Mostly, I guess, in the 20,000 range, it's the compressor one.
Right.
It's the E55s, the 55 ones. But the competitor to this, though, is the perpetual winner of almost everything we ever do. And what is it? Because I think that's your pick.
I was going to say Bentley Turbo R.
Oh, crap.
I'm going to totally mix it up. I know where you're going, but I'm zagging.
Okay, so
I am the Catera. I am the caddy that zigs or zags or whatever.
Well, all right. I thought you were going to say Bmw E39 M5.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, let's move. I'm going to move Bentley down here.
Okay.
To awesome classic. It's not really classic, but we're going to just screw with it.
All right.
E39, yeah. E39, best looking like pre-Bangle BMW that exists.
Right.
Like, it's like before all of that flame surfacing crap. It is cool. It is cold. It handles extremely well.
Yeah.
It is the sports sedan, super sports sedan that we all grew up loving. And it looks great, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And they apparently hold up pretty well, because I live in like a small town, and it is full of E39 M5s. Actually, and here's the trick, though. If you want to save your money, don't buy the E39 M5. Buy the 540, same engine, 6-speed, which you can find with the M package. Looks almost as good. It's like $3,000 or $4,000 cheaper.
I didn't coach him. I swear I didn't coach him. We did this last week.
Really?
That was the $10,000 pick, because you can actually get those cheaper than 20 grand.
You can get those cheaper than 20 grand.
And you, my friend, are. This is why we are like this. Because
brothers from another mother.
Yes, man. Last week that was exactly the thing that we were talking about. Yeah,
they're great, and you can get the wagon too.
And see, that's another thing. So you can get one of those. So if you even want to go better than that, you can want to spend the 20 grand and get one of those with particularly low mileage.
Yeah.
Then we're talking some cool shit.
That's the way to do it. I would totally hop in that car.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we missed one from back up here, but quickly, remember last week we talked about the 944 Turbo.
944 Turbo. You can get a nice 944 Turbo.
Yeah.
Some crazy S2, whatever. You can get the world's nicest 944 Turbo for $20,000.
Right. So we figured, yeah, let's push that back into 20 grand, just because if you find one for 20 grand, it's going to be awesome, because you know that
Concours quality.
Concours quality. Where are we?
I want to talk about the Bentley though.
All right, where you putting it here?
I'm gonna still put it here.
Okay.
This actually, forget AMG, forget BMW M. Bentley does not really have, even now, does not really have a performance arm. They have like super sports, they have speed, but they don't really have a name for it.
Right.
So if you go back further, the Bentley Turbo R, I swear I've seen these for under $20,000. Look on Craigslist, post the links in the comments to what you find. There are Turbo Rs out there. And here's what you get for your $20,000.
Yes.
You get the steak knives. You get the rotisserie. You get a 6.75-liter V8. Now, here's the great thing about a 6.75-liter V8. Your extra dollar gets you that 100th decimal place.
Yeah, that's huge.
It has a fraction on it. It actually, if you look at the engine, it has this is the only engine with a fraction on it that is not portrayed as a decimal. And it's fantastic. And it has so they never released numbers on this car because it's so
adequate.
bad.
It's adequate.
It's adequate because that's all they said. But Motor Trend looked into it, and it was like 500 pound-feet of torque out of this motor.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. So in the motor, and people like you would like hate on a Bentley because of reliability, be like, oh, you buy it for $13,000, spend another $7,000 to drive it once. But I mean, it's not like an old Lotus. Like, it's not that bad because if you think about it, the British built this engine kind of forever. Because originally they built it for South Africa to fight in the Boer War.
I didn't know that.
They did that, and then they fought the Kaiser.
With the same engine.
With the same engine. Then they fought the Nazis with the same engine, and then the Space Nazis when they came. I get all my history from movies. So Space Nazis next. And then Argentinians in the Falkland Island War, and they're still building the engine now. So great reliability.
Yeah.
That's the only $20,000. Just buy Bentley Turbo.
Wait, what was it in when they were fighting the Nazis? What were they? Was it in?
It was in a Spitfire. They you think of like rotary, like radial engines. They just put 2 Bentley engines in it.
Right.
And it was great. And you had your chauffeur in the back seat running the guns.
Running the guns. And your scarf just was flowing.
It was great. And you're killing Nazis.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Turbo R.
Turbo R.
I'm going with well, see, awesome classic, right? We don't have any Ferraris in here. So I have 2 choices, right? If you want to go absolutely crazy, and everybody, first of all, David E. Davis, right, the famous automotive journalist, the late David E. Davis said, every man needs to own a V12 in his life. Paraphrasing, I don't know what he actually said, something like that. But the V12 to get is a Ferrari V12, obviously. And the cheapest Ferrari V12 you can get is in a 400i, which is the poor relation to most Ferraris because it's it's automatic first.
Yeah, it's not automatic. It's a 3-speed GM
it's
automatic.
It's a GM automatic, which is like the most ridiculous thing you could think of.
3 speeds.
3 speed, right?
1 speed for every 4 cylinders.
Exactly. But you are driving a V12 Ferrari, and I actually really like the design.
Oh, it looks great.
It looks fantastic.
It's like Pininfarina, just like, but totally like sleek and low key. And I think if you looked at it, you wouldn't necessarily jump to Ferrari.
Right.
I think you might think Fiat, Lancia, like there's something else there. It's cool. You would not be a poser running around in a 400, which gets us to our next car.
And that's the thing.
Actually.
Well, yeah, actually that's true. But if you seriously, that car, you could pull up anywhere and get out of a Ferrari 400i, and you're awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's no douchebaggery anywhere near that car, which is probably maybe the only Ferrari you can say that with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where there's absolutely zero douchebaggery involved.
The least douchebaggy Ferrari.
Yes, the least douchebaggery.
We proclaim it here.
Has
the late David E. Davis said,
yes,
if you're not going to look like a douchebag in a car, don't look like a douchebag in a Ferrari 400. He's dead, so we can put words in his mouth.
Funny enough, the least douchebaggy Ferrari has a GM transmission. Also, so I put in the other $20,000 Ferrari just because, you know what? It's a Ferrari, the Mondial.
Mondial T, Mondial. It's that weird engine far in the back, and you have like all this extra room, and it looks like.
And the metric wheels, so you got to change them, or else you'll never be able to get tires.
Oh, absolutely no. It's like a crazy car to own, which is why they're on eBay for like we just saw one for $19,500. Buy it now. You can totally buy it. Here is why I think you should actually get a Mondial. The 400 is the classy choice.
Yeah.
You should get a Mondial Quattrovalve.
Okay.
4-valve, newer engine. They fixed some things. It's about 270 horsepower, so it's not slow. You're going to get a red one because that's apparently all they made.
Or blue, whatever that Ferrari blue was. Like, and you got to get a coupe.
Yeah, no, not a cabriolet, because you don't want to be like Scent of a Woman or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, hoo-ha,
hoo-ha,
hoo-ha, take the wheel. What is that? Sorry. That's all I got.
It's a wonderful Pacino impression. No, so if you've ever been, anywhere with a Ferrari owner, all they do is wear Ferrari clothes. Not all of them. There's some really great Ferrari out there. Big love to Glickenhaus, but there's so many like Ferrari owners out there. Like they wear the Ferrari shoes and the Ferrari pants and the windbreaker, and it's the worst thing in the world. And a lot of them know they have like nice cars. Like if you have a 599, like you spent a lot of money to wear a lot of Ferrari gear.
Right.
Show up next to that guy in the same outfit, in the same Ferrari hat, autographed by Alonso or some crap, and sit next to him in a Mondial and act like you're the same guy. Just follow him around all day and be like, us Ferrari owners, you know how it is, going to the shop and me and Miffy and our Ferraris, and just until they just give up.
Yeah, there would just be. I mean, there's no way that they would just try. They think you're like the puppy that followed them home, and you're just like this. No, screw them, because you know what? You have the cooler car.
Oh, absolutely. I see a 599. I look. I go, oh, okay, cool. It's a 599. Flying buttresses, whatever. But I see a Mondial, and I'm like, that guy. I was at a Cars and Coffee, and there was one there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dude.
The Mondial.
And he just like it was next to a Lamborghini, and he was just like, screw it, Mondial.
So here I am. That's right. No, the cool thing about the Mondial is that it's the least pretentious thing you could have. I mean, you pull up. It's just like you're pulling up in like an old like Duster or something.
It
is.
I
mean, it's like cool Duster. It's like it's the Duster of
the Duster of Ferraris. Makes perfect sense. The late David E. Davis.
Yes, thank you. says David E. Davis. I think that's it. That's it for us. We're out of numbers. Yeah. And that is Road Testament. That's the end of our best used cars in the world. And thank you for being part of it. Matt Hardigree, editor-in-chief of Jalopnik. And we will see you next week. And in a couple of weeks, we're taking a hiatus to rebuild our set, because this set is a little grim, as you've said. We're actually going to do some cool stuff. And also, later today, watch Jalopnik TV. It's up.
Yeah. Jalopnik on Drive. It's going to be awesome.
Did I say Jalopnik TV?
You did.
That's all right.
Whatever.
Jalopnik on Drive. It's not TV. It's MTV. See you later.